Good afternoon. My name is Marcia Reid, and today I am presenting the topic The Influence of Social Media Technologies and Their Effects on Organizational Interpersonal Communication. My thesis statement is the dependence on social media technologies have changed how we communicate in organizations and has impacted interpersonal communication both positively and negatively. My first claim is social media technologies have changed how we communicate in organizations. It has become obvious that the dependence on social media technologies like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube has changed how we communicate in organizations. According to Leonardi, Huseman, and Steinfeld 2013, social media technologies have become pervasive in today's organizations and are functioning as a platform through which much interpersonal communication occurs. Today, in both intra and interorganizational interpersonal communications is done mainly through the sending of text messages and emails. Much of the discourse around social media has focused on the powerful impact they can have on how businesses engage with consumers and external stakeholders, providing insight into such topics as messaging, branding, and client relationship management. According to Badio 2014, social media has revolutionized communication and has reconfigured the old model of internal organizational communication. Due to the popularity of social media, organizations have placed high importance on understanding how to effectively manage and maximize the use of social media. Further, Fisher and Ruber 2011, cited in Langer 2014, posit that social media has become an essential part of today's integrated organizational communication strategies for many organizations. My second claim is social media technologies has impacted interpersonal communication positively. These technologies have facilitated the creation of social and business networks that allow for the easy sharing of thoughts and ideas through messages and other medium. Hyde 2021. These technologies have made people more social and interactive with others. Keller 2013. People are able to have interpersonal communication with a larger group of people over longer distances in a shorter period of time. Hyde 2021. My third and final claim is social media technologies have impacted interpersonal communication negatively. Social media relationships are not as strong as those built up by face-to-face communication. Keller 2013. And since the social media technologies facilitate people of like mindset, people are not benefiting from having diversity of opinions. The constant use of these technologies is not only changing how and what we communicate, but it is also changing us and making us vulnerable to the beliefs, behaviors, and attitudes of other people. Times of India 2020. In the counter-argument put forward by Tardanayko 2012, there is the belief that social media make people more social and interactive with others. However, according to Tardanayko, social media has the potential to be less social if we use these relationships as surrogate for the real thing. The potential for misinterpretation is expected, as there is an absence in the access to body language in most of these communications. These misunderstandings could lead to explosion of conflict or conclusions drawn and frighteningly. People must therefore be cognizant of the negative aspects of social media communication, despite the wonderful positive things it brings to the table. Studies have shown that 93% of communication between two people is based on their body language and other nonverbal norms, and only 7% is based on the written or spoken word. Tardanico 2012. It means, therefore, that only when we look into the eyes or hear the tone of their voice can we be sure that there is common understanding in the communication. In refuting Tardanico's claim, I have indicated, however, when we look at how social media technologies has been pervasive in organizational interpersonal communication, the positives far outweigh the negatives. Jane 2010 states that social media create and foster more intimate relationships by changing the foundations of how we relate. And although people are placed in positions where they suffer from a lack of diversity in the opinions they are exposed to, it is still held by some people as a great way to connect with people and to build relationships. From the organizational and interpersonal standpoint, the advantages definitely outweighs the disadvantages. However, when we examine the thesis statement, the dependence on social media technologies have changed how we communicate in organization and has impacted interpersonal communication both positively and negatively. Note that organizations are always dependent on new technologies to grow, and organizations have always had to adapt and grow. The evidence is therefore clear that interpersonal communication within organizations have changed to accommodate social technologies, and it is also clear that some of the impacts have been positive and some have been negative. Please see my references to support my presentation. I thank you.